Hello, it's Reverend Myozan Kodo, and I'm back to continue this reading of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Suzuki Roshi. Today I'm looking at Nirvana, the Waterfall. Our life and death are the same thing. When we realize this fact, we have no fear of death anymore, nor actual difficulty in our life. Suzuki Roshi, in this chapter of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, in this talk, this Teisho, is really talking about sunyata, emptiness. And he's also talking about non-self. Non-self is, of course, one of the central teachings of the Buddha Dharma, that there is no independent self existing separate from the rest of reality. This teaching is often misunderstood as a kind of a version of nihilism, that there is really nothing that exists and there is no real meaning. But that is an incorrect reading of the teaching of non-self. Non-self doesn't mean that you do not exist. Non-self means maybe that you do not exist in the way that you think you exist, as an independent entity cut off from all life, from the flowing reality of life. This flowing image is used by Suzuki Roshi to describe self and non-self, and the teaching of emptiness in this chapter. Emptiness or boundlessness, it can be, understood from either perspective. So the image Suzuki Roshi uses is the image of a waterfall at Yosemite Park in the United States, and that this big curtain of water falls from a great height, and from a distance it looks like one big curtain of water, but in fact it's lots of little droplets and streams, and each droplet or stream is separated from the great curtain of water as it falls, and has a sense of individual experience, and then it returns again to the water. And this water, this flowing image, is used by Shinryu Suzuki throughout. He also references the flowing river at Eiheiji, the monastery founded by Dogen, Master Dogen in Japan, in the 1240s. And he talks about Half Dipper Bridge and the way the waters returned. Master Dogen used to take the water and return half of it to the river. And also how the monks of Eiheiji fill their wash basins to wash their face to 70% and then empty the water out of respect towards them. And this is a deep respect. This is a respect, I suppose in a way it's an intuitive respect of all reality, of the ultimate truth of things, of the interconnection of things, which Shinryu Suzuki is talking about here. So this teaching is not a denial of our human life. We have these individual human lives, which are real. They are not illusory. They are not delusions. Your human life is not a delusion. What is a delusion is that it is a life cut off and separate from the great flow of thusness, of the way things are, of it. So Shinryu Suzuki here is reminding us that life and death really are manifest or not in a single moment. That our sense of individuality exists now. It didn't exist before we were born. It will pass away. It comes into existence and out of existence, like the droplet of water in the waterfall at Yosemite. But the water remains. The sense of individuality comes and goes, but fundamentally nothing has changed. Fundamentally the water is a metaphor to try and explain this ineffable truth, this truth that can, really can't be articulated. So this composure that we have when we cease to have this individual existence is a very deep composure, which maybe we find a little troubling when we are hanging on and attaching to our sense of self. But as the Buddha Dharma and its training teaches us, the Zen training, to release that grip and to allow things to flow again, to not hold on to this sense of self, this individual me, mine, so with such a ferocity and viciousness and protectiveness, to kind of release that. And in releasing it, we don't lose our sense of self, we don't lose ourself, rather we find our true face, our true nature, and the true nature of all things. So this chapter of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, it's a very good one to read if you're suffering bereavement, or if you're pondering the finitude of human life. Maybe you know someone who's died recently. We're in the middle of a pandemic, COVID-19, this worldwide pandemic. So there are people dying, and there are always people dying, and we ourselves shall pass from this visible world. So it's a good chapter to read when you're pondering these things. And in this teaching that Shinryu Suzuki offers us today, can be found a kind of peace, a very deep peace, which is at the very heart of Zazen. It's at the very heart of our Zazen. It is a direct experience of thusness, of the way things really are, beyond this distinction of small self and no self, but something that can encompass something much greater than this kind of duality, which is the way the Dharma is. So I encourage you to read this chapter yourself. So thank you so much for your attention today, and we're coming to the last few sections of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. We now move to the third and final part next time we meet. Right understanding. Our understanding of Buddhism is not just an intellectual understanding. True understanding is actual practice itself. So we'll move on to that final part of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind the next time. Traditional Zen spirit. Thank you so much for your attention. Sit every day. Sit Zazen. Touch that truth every day in your life, and enjoy your life.